Hi, I'm Bob Torres of the California Western Dressage Association. I hope you've enjoyed our short video spotlight so far. You can find them on our California Western Dressage website in the Educational Videos page. In today's topic, we will cover our very popular online show series and how to effectively and successfully compete in an online show. We realize it's not for everybody, but because of COVID and the equine lockdowns caused by various horse virus and other factors such as bad weather, or maybe you don't live in a state that offers live horse shows in your travel radius. Maybe you don't own a trailer. None of these things should keep you from expanding your journey and developing the best partnership ever with you and your horse. Consider the advantage of home field advantage. Nothing like a relaxed, calm horse and the opportunity to show at the time of day that fits your schedule. And you trainers out there have the opportunity to turn an online showing event into a weekend get-together with your students and family to recreate that live horse show feel and make it a great place to meet new horse friends. Today we're with Andrea Lewis, a former FEI 3-day eventer and now our current California Western Dressage gold medalist. Happy to have her, and also happy to have her as a California Western Dressage board member. Andrea has lots of experience with online showing from her home in Utah, so we're going to drop in on her now by Studio Zoom.
Hi, Andrea. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Good, good. I'm glad that we're able to do this. I think this is going to be very informative to our online group and viewers. If you wouldn't mind, briefly just tell us about yourself and your journey that you to find Western Dressage.
Sure. Well, I've done obviously eventing, and I've done the regular, traditional dressage. And I ended up buying a quarter horse last year, and I was like, what can I do with this quarter horse that I just purchased? And I've been doing Western, basically Western dressage on my traditional dressage horse because I started riding him just in a Western saddle. And so for me, it was really fun. I just started looking online and found the whole Western dressage community. Just been having great fun and met some fabulous people ever since.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, we're celebrating our 10th anniversary this in 2023. So we're not that old, but we're getting very popular with the public out there. A good horse discipline program. I think Western Dressage has it going on. Thank you so much. We realize that that our viewers watching this may not have any experience with online showing. So at this time, what I'd like to do, Andrea, is put your video on that's called the entry and sign up portion. And then we'll come back in a few moments.
CATA.org website and click on their virtual show High Point schedule. That will take you to the upcoming virtual shows, and you can get more information. And the prize list is on this page. So if you look here, you see that we have right now, as the Fall Fiestas open. It opened on August 25th through the 17th, and then videos are due by the 28th. And then the judging period is the 9th through the 18th. Our judge, and there's a lot of information here within the prize list. I would really read those for any show that you enter to make sure that you're familiar with which arena size. Some shows, the lower levels, the intro and the basic will be in a small arena, and the rest will be in a large. So this gives you all of that information. Also, more details about CATA membership awards. If you saw on our website that there's a lot of information for in-person as well as the virtual shows in year-end membership or year-end awards, which is really fun to join as well. And then Western Dressage programs through the Western Dressage Association of America, and different rider eligibility as well. So you can go learn about the CATA Online Year-End High Point program, as well as this will show you how to actually enter the show. And then it's going to list out if you have any questions about, your video, how it's supposed to be represented, then this is great to really read through, especially the equipment check, the guidelines. They're really trying to help everyone be successful. So make sure and read through the details. of that, as well as if you want to get a hold of the test that you'll be writing, you go to this page for the WDAA test. And good luck on your virtual show journey.
Earlier off camera, we were talking about how online showing has some technical video aspects that live shows don't have. Could you briefly go down the list of things that are required and the things that could get us disqualified? And then we can get into some video examples that you brought with you.
Sure. So I have heard people say different things like, they did a tack check, but they didn't show the inside of their noseband. They didn't know because in real show, an in-person show, no one's ever asked them to see the inside. So you really need to make sure and you read through all that's required for that particular online show. And it does change every year. And so you want to make sure that you read through and update yourself on that. I've also heard people say, oh, I didn't show my spurs. And, it's actually a rather popular person who, has a lot of knowledge in the WDAA, and they ended up not showing their spurs and they had to redo their ride. So you don't want to make it, your tack check the reason why your fun ride can't be shown or used in a show. So make sure you read through that closely.
Right.
And then I've heard some people, I actually use a video camera that is on a tripod. And so you'll notice with our tack check, my tack check, we turn the horse in front of the camera doesn't come into the ring with us. But if you're using your cell phone or an iPad, you certainly could walk around the horse, but just take your time.
Okay.
I've had a number of people say, oh, we had the best ride and my videographer shut it off and
Oh, no.
we didn't get to tack check. So you've got to keep that video going the whole time from start to finish, from when you show your sign to the very end. And that actually happened to me once last year. We rode and we were both in kind of a hurry and a little bit distracted, and we shut off the camera. And if you shut that camera off before you do your tack check, then you're done. You got to start over. So, make sure that everyone just kind of takes a breather. Your ride's done. Just take your time and show everything, that is required, from your bits to your spurs, your whip, the side of your horse, the side of, your inside of your cavesson, the outside. Make sure you really read through that and, take your time and just, don't breeze through that, because you can't go backwards, and unless you have to do your ride over, you don't want to get disqualified for not doing something.
Yeah, good advice. I heard keep your camera going. That's definitely no disqualification to cut your camera off until the very, very end when you finish your tack check. Showing the inside of your noseband. Now that's new to me. We didn't have that rule a couple of years ago. What about your spurs? Do you actually have to spin your rowels?
The shows that I've been through, they say you don't need to spin your rowels.
Okay.
So just make sure and read through that and see if that's changed or what they're asking for. I've actually seen some shows come out and say you don't need to spin your rowels. So, just make sure that you take your time, but also make sure you read through what your show is asking for to make sure that you're, showing exactly what's needed.
Okay. Also, I heard that you're saying that cell phones is absolutely fine for doing these tests.
Yeah. A lot of people do that because it's really easy to upload to YouTube. Just make sure that typically the show wants it in landscape. So make sure you turn your phone sideways.
Yeah, I wanted to show you something that helped me. Was I bought this little stick that my camera fits to, and it helped my videographer, which was my wife, actually do a good job. But she was able to hold this steady. It helps you manipulate too. If you want to hold somebody around the arena, you can do it by hand. It's a little tough on, if you don't have a steady hand. That's the downside.
I do think it is good to note, though, to just really take your time and have fun with this. It's supposed to be fun. It should be more relaxed than going to a show. If it's not a good day, because of weather, maybe your mare's in heat, a stallion screaming, things like that. That's kind of the benefit of being able to show
Yeah.
online is, maybe it's not your day, as well. If, life has gotten a little bit in the way and your head's not in the game, then do it another day, film another day. And that's kind of a benefit of showing online. But I know that we've talked before, Bob, about the fact that, you have an entry day and you can get your sign
Yes.
on entry day. And because I only write on the weekends, I pretty much film one test a weekend. So it takes me about 3 weekends to get through, if I'm doing 3 rides in a show.
Yeah.
I am right there on the opening day with my first video
Oh,
that
good.
weekend.
Good point. I think it's good to pay attention to the deadline because, if you wait to the last day or the couple days left before you have to submit your video, something could go wrong. It could rain. It could, anything could happen. So it's a good idea. Keep your eye on that deadline. Maybe start a week earlier or 2 weeks earlier. And that way you have plenty of time to make any corrections or redo the test or whatever. That's a good point.
And life gets in the way too, horse may
Yep.
pull a shoe, you can't get the shoer out.
Yep.
There are a lot of reasons why you wouldn't be able to get it, or you could film and just hang on to those. If you wanted to try a refilm, I did have someone on a team that I was doing, and they, thought they wanted to do a refilm and it never happened. And so they ended up using the one that they had. And that's kind of a good note too. If something goes wrong in the ride, just it's a practice ride. Just keep riding it
Yeah.
through and finish it
Yep.
out, do your tack check. And then if you feel like it, take it again. But that might have been your best ride, even with just one
Yep.
little oopsie or something, you
Yep.
just move on from that. Each movement is scored,
Yep.
differently. So you can just carry on. And
Yeah. And remind the people that you cannot piece your videos together.
good
You get
point.
one ride and that's it. It's just like being at a show. You don't get a second chance. So that's the other thing I like about the online shows that they don't, you get one chance. That video
Yeah,
starts and that video stops at the end and that's it. Okay,
right.
great. Why don't we take this time now? Let's go ahead and show a couple of videos that you and I have put together to help viewers see some of the things that we did, some good things and maybe some bad things. So we'll go there now.
Great. Here's a short example of what the arena looks like with our cones and letters set up. As you can see, we're showing our sign clearly filled out so that the judges know exactly what test we're writing, and then we begin our test. One of the most important parts is a tack check at the very end. And we've actually accidentally shut the camera off before the tack check, and then obviously you have to do your ride all over again. So it's just really important to make sure that you take your time. And we actually are using a video camera, and that's why my husband's unable to come in, and go around the horse. So we're showing, clearly both sides of the horse. We turned around, showed the back side, and then always, just take your time, make sure you show all the parts. I always get off and show the fact I can get my fingers underneath the capison, because if I start to take it off, then I can't go backwards and show that I have, taken it off. We show the spurs, how tall, long my whip is, and we always make sure and zoom in really well on the spurs so they can see, what's being used, make sure that they're in focus. And then we actually have a canal that runs right on the left-hand side of the screen, and we have ducks and geese and dogs that come running through there and out of there. And so we put a halter on just around her neck because we don't want to have her get away from me while we've had such a nice test, and don't want to have an incident with her running around afterwards. So we just put a halter on her neck. And obviously, it depends on what works for your horse. You may not need to do this, but just with the various cows and different things we can have running by or running through the ring or something like that, we just try and prevent any problems by doing that. And then as soon as he's back to the video camera again, for the heck of it, show that her cavison's nice and loose. And then we take off the bridle and make sure that we show the parts that are required for this particular kata show. Like I've mentioned, you want to make sure and read through each show to make sure that you're catching the pieces that they want to see. I'm showing the flexibility of the cavesson, and then you have to show the inside of it to make sure that there is no metal and that it is nice and flexible. And then I also show the bit, the front of it, the back of it, make sure they can see what I'm using. I have my fingers in view so that you can see how wide the bit is compared to my fingers. And then the latch, make sure that you show, both sides and that it's flexible again. And I just take my time and do this because I want to make sure that everything's captured, and I don't want to not have one of my rides accepted because I didn't do my tack check correctly. So hopefully this gives you some ideas of what to do.
So in my musical freestyle video, I want to point out that I thought it was a good idea that I give my videographer a signal and to start the music, and I did that at P so that I could get my timing and all that and we'd get a good start for the actual freestyle. So that part of the test went pretty good. You can see also I have my court set up with my cones. Don't have anything for rails except at the corners, and like Andrea, I've also used landscaping poles for my corners. Right about here, my videographer has some focusing issues. So not bad, but I mean, it's not perfect, but it continues on. So I think I ended up scrapping this video. Being very picky here, but you can see that I'm stirring up some dust in my arena, and although that's not going to get any points against you, but I'm kind of picky. I should have probably sprinkled that arena down just a little bit before I started my test. And when I was down at the far end of the arena, I should have had my videographer probably zoom in just a little bit more to get some more detail. Helps the judge a lot, and yeah.
Very important here. I just want to note that even when you're not filming a musical freestyle video, you are required to keep your camera audio on during the test.
And as we come down the home stretch for the ending of the test, it kind of goes off the rails a little bit. All in all, this test actually went very good. The timing with the music was good. Diva's movements were all good. It was actually a very well run test on my part and Diva's part. But we had to struggle with the videographer trying to figure out, because he'd never done it before. So trying to figure out where he was supposed to be, and he didn't do any zooming, and sometimes missed my mark in some of the body of the test where he was actually off myself and my horse.
See that, and a good thing to do is review your video before you submit it, and make from start to finish. Can you see your sign? Did you get all your ride? Did you do all your tag check? I actually have a list that I go through and I just check off. I watch my ride and I make sure, especially when doing a musical freestyle, did I have all the elements or did I start creating my own thing?
Yeah, right.
Make sure that all your requirement elements are
Some of my
actually
secrets.
make sure those elements are all showed, because you don't want to submit a video and then have forgotten a stretch circle or a lengthening, and that sort of thing. And this is your time to get it right and have fun with it.
Okay. Also want to point out that our dressage course that we utilized, both of us, it looks like both of us used the space that we had. I mean, I didn't have an official dressage court. I actually built one using pipe and buckets, and looks like you made good use of some landscaping poles, and you marked all your letters with your cones as I did. So I just want to mention, for our viewers, not, don't be intimidated by not having an official dressage court to use. As long as you have a place that's 20 by 60 meters rectangle, you can build your own dressage court. The important thing is that the judge can see your entire test over the area. And I just want to also mention that the WDAA website also has court dimensions and diagrams for you to download, and you can easily, mark that off. And I think there's even conversion tables where you can convert meters to feet and inches, so that if you're going to lay out your own court, you just want to make sure you have good footing and you're fairly level. But I've seen some videos that were done out in a pasture, on grass, and that's perfectly fine. So, well, Andrea, thank you so much for partnering with us today.
Oh, you're welcome. I just really hope people give it a try and start showing online dressage.
Great. Hopefully this will help our members and anyone interested in virtual showing understand how easy it is. Like all things, the more we practice, the more confidence we gain, and optimistically will show up in our writing. Don't forget to check the WDA website for other educational videos and our California Dressage website for scholarship opportunities, where we offer covering your clinic expense up to $200. I think the WDA and the California Western Dressage membership fees are very low. They're actually under $50. So that's better than a lot of other organizations out there that offer horse discipline and training and things like that. So visit us, go to California Western Dressage.org and check us out. And remember, it's about the journey.